Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be fixing my Arrma Mega Typhon. So, what's wrong with it right now is the motor's broken, which I'm not actually sure how it broke, but it is broken. And the big gear in here is stripped. So, in this video, I'm just going to be replacing both of those. So, let's get started. So, I'm going to start by removing the axle by pressing it this and then pulling it out. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, but it'll come out. There it goes, just like that. And then flip over the car, and there's one gear right here. I mean, sorry, not gear. Well, there's one screw right here, and that screw needs to come out. Now that that's coming out, this red section right here can pull out like that. And now I'm going to be pulling off this full section right here. So right here where it says pull, I'm just going to pull that so until I hear that click, and then I can kind of, it'll probably be pretty hard to pull out just because it's going to be pretty tight in there, but it should come out. So it's a lot stiffer than I thought it'd be, so I got a flathead screwdriver. So now it's coming out. Yeah, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and unplug my motor. Now, I'll be taking out those 3 screws. Okay, so I got out that last screw. I'm just going to pull this off. Let's see here. So, yes, this gear is very stripped out, which is actually only to be expected because this car came with a brushed motor, and this was the original gear, but then I replaced it with this brushless motor, so that's probably why it's stripped out. So the replacement gear that I'm going to get is this one. It's metal, so it shouldn't strip out again, and it also came along with a pack of gears. Pinion gears. So, but now, I'm going to just remove the motor. This. So, yeah, this thing is, so the problem with it is, first of all, that's just a terrible noise. I don't know if you can hear it very easily, but it's like all scratchy, and the axle can actually click back and forth. So yeah, it's very bad. So my new motor, which is exactly the same, much smoother running. Actually, before I hook it up, I'm just gonna test it out with my car. Oh, and by the way, the reason that I'm switching these, plugging the blue into the orange and the orange into the blue, is because I think when I was setting it up, I had some settings issues, so that fixed the problem. So that's the reason I had to do that. Try that again. Maybe plugging in a new motor setting system isn't quite like it. Well, actually, yeah, it's very possible. I think my battery might just be dead. But I know that this is a new motor, so I'm just gonna assume that's gonna work. And And then I'll go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and go plug in this battery. Okay, now that that battery's charging, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting things set up. So I want this car to go just a little bit faster, so this gear came with these 3 pinion gears, as I had already said. But there's 3 different sizes, so I'm gonna pick the biggest one, so my car will just go a little bit faster. Set screw. It's also nice to have some extra pinion gears. Just in case. Okay, and now slide it on. That's perfectly. I'm gonna get this tiny Allen wrench to set the screw in. Oh, it's too small. So then the gear is set just right to the surface of the axle. Sorry, this might be a little bit hard to see, but I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done. Okay, got that gear set. Yeah, it's quite a bit bigger. I bet this car will go quite a bit faster. Just gonna give it a finishing tightening touch. I think that's good. Now, I'm going to mount my motor in. So the trick is, for this part, is to first just get it pretty loosely so it can easily slide back and forth on these rails, and then put your gear in, and then tighten it once you make sure that your gears are just right, so then they're not too far apart, so then they'll slip, but they're not too close, so then it'll, I'm not really sure how to explain what would happen if it was too close, but you don't want it to be too close. It won't work as well. So yeah, first I'm just gonna loosely get these gears, get these screws in. And another thing you'll want to pay attention to, which has happened to me twice, is to make sure that when you install the motor, the wires are going upright on your motor. That is, of course, if the wires are going off the side on your motor. But because you don't want, if you're pointing them down, because the way that the motor sits, it wouldn't be able to sit right. So you gotta make sure your wires are sticking up. Okay, so now that I got the screws in, see, you can easily slide back and forth. Now, I'm going to get here. Slide it into place. Wow, that also, man, that bearings also just works a lot better. Okay, and now, as I said, not too tight, not too close, but not too far apart either. Which one has a little bit of space? And also, you'll probably also be able to hear it. You'll easily be able to see if you did it too loose, and then you'll easily be able to hear it if it's too tight, because that'll be a lot louder if it's tight. I think I might have gone just a tiny bit too tight. I'm gonna try loosening just I mean, not tight, like close. That's too loose. That's good. Now it's probably going to be a little bit louder because it's metal on metal, but it should still work. I'm going to try pushing on this and just see how it turns. I might just not be used to having a metal gear on here. But it seems a good distance, not too tight, not too loose. Alright, just try it out. And of course, if I got it a bit too tight, I can always take it back to third. Of course, that'd be a bother, but I always could. Now that I got all that set up, my new motor and new gears, I'm gonna screw back on all of these. Okay, so still sounds a little bit weird. We'll just have to see how it drives. Again, I just think it might just be the fact that this gear is metal and not plastic. Push it on. There. Heard that click. And then this red piece, slide it back on. That. Put it over. I got that piece on all the way. I guess. Now, in the middle axle. There. Just like that. Now I'm gonna plug it in. Now I want to go grab my battery. Okay, so I'm gonna plug in my battery. Strap it in. That sounds all right. Yeah, everything's working. It certainly sounds a little bit different now that it has metal gear, but it's all working fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna just test out it. Let's see how it works. Whoa, certainly accelerated pretty fast. Yeah, seems to be working marvelously. Whoa, I think that bigger pinion gear really bumped up its speed quite a bit. Yeah, it's going really fast. But yeah, good. I'm glad that works well. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any other ideas for anything else that you'd like to watch me fix or make, leave a comment below. And with that, like and subscribe.